And I haven't been watching New Japan for that long. I'll sit here and I'll tell you guys straight up. I got into New Japan in 2015, but I didn't truly get into New Japan until 2018. This has got to be the worst build-up I have ever seen for Wrestle Kingdom. We are literally less than 30 days away from Wrestle Kingdom Night 1 on January the 4th. And so far, we only have 3 matches official for this show. The first being Will Ospreay versus Kazuchika Okada on Night 1. The second being Tetsuya Naito versus Kota Ibushi on Night 1 as well. And the third being either the winner of Naito and Ibushi versus Jay White on Night 2. And guess what? All these matches were set in place at Power Struggle last month. These matches were set in place 30 days ago. Like, really? Really? This is how you build up your biggest show of the year. I understand. Oh, but Tyler, COVID, they were gone and out for 3 months. I'm not trying to hear that shit. They came back in July. I know they needed time to recuperate and reinvigorate and figure out their plans going forward. But you can't sit here and tell me that by December they're still trying to figure out their plans for Wrestle Kingdom. They had to have this figured out by at least August. Figured out what they're doing going forward. Why are we now, this weekend, going to be figuring out what the rest of the card is? And I probably am sure we're not going to have the entire card laid out by the time we get to the Road to Tour. The Road to Tokyo Dome Tour, which is coming up like middle of the month. What is this? What is this? Like, I am so glad I went to Wrestle Kingdom this year. I mean, this year and not next year. Because if I bought a ticket to Japan and I saw this build up, I would probably be really, really mad. Like, I saw somebody in the comment section of my video saying, oh, am I the only person who booked a ticket to Wrestle Kingdom this year? And I'm like, buddy, you probably are. Because if I saw this show, I wouldn't buy a ticket to it. A 3-match show? Not even a show. 2 shows. They're doing 2 nights of Wrestle Kingdom. And you can't say, but Tyler, they don't have the roster. They got their roster back. Kenta was gone. He's back. J-Rob was gone. He's back. Juice, Finley were gone. They're both back. G.O.D. was gone. They're back. Fale, Chase Owens, they're back too. Everybody they were missing is basically back. And people who are not missing, they're on New Japan of America television. So, no, they're not missing a big, immense amount of people. And I don't want to hear the argument of, John Moxley. No, I don't want to hear the John Moxley argument either. That's what I want to get into as well. Why the fuck is John Moxley still the IWGP United States Champion? We got confirmation this week from Tony Khan himself that John Moxley will not be at Wrestle Kingdom 15. He will not be wrestling on that show. So I ask you, if John Moxley is not wrestling at this show to defend his championship, why is Kenta still the briefcase holder? Why is Kenta the briefcase holder? Why is he acting like he's facing John Moxley at Wrestle Kingdom when Tony Khan just told us no? And I know Tony Khan isn't, Harold Mays. He isn't the showrunner for New Japan. He's not Ghetto. But he very much has a lot of say of what John Moxley's schedule looks like. And if he doesn't want John Moxley traveling, then guess what? John Moxley ain't fucking traveling. So I don't believe this is I don't believe this is a work. Why would Tony Khan go on a whim and say, oh, John Moxley won't be there if he's going to be there? Like, I think that would kind of allude to New Japan and AEW working together if it was a work. But I don't think this is a work. I think John Moxley more than likely is not showing up. So the question now lies, what do you do with the IWGP United States Championship? And the answer is simple. Strip John Moxley. He has been the champion since February. No, he's been a champion since January. John Moxley has been the champion for going on an entire calendar year. And he's defended his title 1 time. Twice if you count against Juice on Night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom. And Minoru Suzuki at New Beginning. And then that's it. He went back to America, COVID happened, and he never came back. You guys remember the first reign? When he was supposed to face Juice Robinson? But then, what happened? Like a tsunami or something happened? Not a tsunami, I guess that would have probably wiped out everything. Some like really bad storm happened in Japan and he couldn't travel. what did New Japan do? They stripped Jon Moxley the championship. And then they gave the championship back to him at Wrestle Kingdom. Like literally 2 months later, they gave the championship right back to him. So why didn't they just do it now? You already did it. I guess the argument is, oh, they don't want to do it again. But he's not there. He's not, at least with the first reign, he was actually wrestling in Japan. I mean, not every week, but he was there for the G1 Climax. He was there for like another tour. Like, he was actually wrestling as the champion last year. There is no argument this year because he wasn't there for literally basically since February. That's 10 months he wasn't in New Japan. You can't make this argument that there's some warranted reason for why he kept the championship. There is no reason. There is no reason. I guess you can hold out hope, but for how long do you hold out hope? Every month, you do not have a singles champion on your show in the same company where your IC and heavyweight championship are won. So 2 singles titles you had last year are now not being used. Your only singles title that isn't the heavyweight championship is the Never Openweight Championship. And you're not even making that the Openweight Championship because after all your main guys came back, you said fuck the juniors and they went back to wrestling for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. So that really isn't even that big of a title right now. So what you have the opportunity to get this title over, to make people care about it, but instead you keep it on a guy who's never there. It's not helping. It's hurting your product. It's hurting the championship. Every month the champion is not there, people forget who the champion is. They forget what the championship is. And I tell you what, when they do strip Jon Moxley, because they're gonna have to. If Jon Moxley is not gonna show up at Wrestle Kingdom and he's not gonna show up in New Beginning, you're gonna have to strip him. You're gonna go on an entire calendar year that he has been the champion and not defended it one time? That's dumb. So when they strip him, they're going to have to figure out how to make people care about that title again. Because people aren't going to care as much because the championship was defunct for basically an entire year. And it's nobody's fault but New Japan. I can't blame Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley couldn't travel to Japan. And when he could travel to Japan, Tony Khan said no. So it's not Jon Moxley's fault. It's New Japan's fault. They could have stripped him the same way they did him in 2019. But they decided not to. So when the time comes and people don't give a fuck about the championship, blame New Japan. Blame New Japan. And when they do strip him, it should go straight to the briefcase holder Kenta. Straight to him. Or do the Money in the Bank situation where Kenta opens up the briefcase and it's the IWGP US Championship in there. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how they're going to figure it out. But if Jon Moxley is not wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom, take the title off of him. I would say take the title off of him as soon as this show coming up. Take it off of him, put it on Kenta, and have Kenta defend the championship at Wrestle Kingdom. Figure it out. Fucking figure it out. So outside of that, you're going to have the 2 matches announced with the winner of the World Tag League facing the Tag Team Champions, and then the winner of BOSJ facing, probably the Junior Heavyweight Champion. That's 2 additional matches on a show with only 5 matches. And not a show. 2 shows. 2 shows. 5 matches. That's 2 matches on one show, 3 on the other. How do you expect to fill up this card without more matches, without more feuds? Because name some feuds for me that are happening in New Japan right now that haven't been already done. Evil vs. Sonata, that's been done already. Shingo versus Minoru Suzuki, that's been done already. Hiromu's going into the championship picture, so we don't have to worry about him feuding with such and such. Okada versus Ospreay, that's being done right now. Like, all the main feuds in New Japan right now are already either being done or have been done. So unless this is going to be Rematch Mania, I don't know what they're doing for Wrestle Kingdom right now. And it's not the intrigue type of, I don't know what they're doing. It's the questionable, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Think about it. I'm going to look this up right now. Wrestle Kingdom 14. I must tell you guys how many matches were on Wrestle Kingdom 14. I was at the show, by the way. I was at Japan for the show. I was at this show. Night 1 had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches on night 1. Night 2 had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There were 8 matches for each show. Right now, there's 5. that you got to split up against 2 shows. So you mean to tell me they're going to fill up both cards, 16 matches a piece? Please tell me they're going to figure that out. And a pre-show they have to worry about as well. What's if they do a pre-show, because I won't blame them if they don't do one. How are they going to fill up these shows? With what matches? With what feuds exactly? You don't have the U.S. Championship, so forget about it unless you strip Jon Moxley. You don't have the IC Championship. That's unified with the Heavyweight Championship, so forget about it. Right now, you only have the Never Openweight Championship, the Tag Team Championships, the Junior Heavyweight Championships, the Junior Heavyweight Championships, and the Never Openweight 6-Man Tag Team Championships. That's 5 titles you have to worry about right now. Cool. But after those 5 titles, what else are you doing? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? So I go back to this once again. This is, bar none, the worst Wrestle Kingdom build I've ever seen. And let me go into this because I didn't talk about this on the previous podcast, but this also really makes me kind of frustrated. The IWGP Heavyweight IC Championship picture of Wrestle Kingdom right now. On night 1, Tetsuya Naito versus Kota Ibushi. A match that in any other event I would be excited for. Ibushi and Naito always have great matches despite one of these men always know they're gonna die, so I'm kind of scared at the same time. They always have great matches. You know, they have that feud going from a few months ago, really a year ago I would say, touching back on that. It's for the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championship. What more could I ask for? I'm a Kota Ibushi fan. What more could you ask for? Except the fact that Kota Ibushi won the G1 Climax this year. Mind you, he won last year. He won again this year. It's not as great, impactful, inspiring as last year's win, because he already went to Wrestle Kingdom and lost. So now, he won again. Cool. He's going back, having his redemption arc. But then he loses the briefcase to Jay White at Power Struggle. So now, he has no direction. And that lasted for all of one day. All of one day. Because at the press conference the next day, Tetsuya Naito's like, if I don't have Kota Ibushi, then I'm not showing up. And then New Japan's like, okay, we'll give you your match. So then, they give us Tetsuya Naito versus Kota Ibushi. And I'm just frustrated because I'm like, why is Kota Ibushi in this match when he lost the briefcase? You just made the G1 Climax completely irrelevant. Yes, I know he won the G1 Climax, but he lost the challenge rights to Jay White. He shouldn't be in the picture, and I'm a Kota Ibushi fan, and I am saying this. Kota Ibushi should not be in the picture because he lost. But he's in the match against Naito because Naito demanded it, and then he's facing Jay White, who's going to be on night 5. And I love Jay White to death, but I don't have any confidence that Jay White versus Naito or Jay White versus Ibushi is going to live up to really any Wrestle Kingdom main event I've ever seen. I don't expect that to be like this great match. I don't think it's going to be. Jay White doesn't strike me as the type of guy to go, that mile and make that Wrestle Kingdom main event the match of the year like we've seen every year with Wrestle Kingdom main events. He might shock the hell out of me, and he has before, but I don't see it. I don't see it. Once again, the worst build up to Wrestle Kingdom I've ever seen, and it's very sad. But we'll talk about that more on the Death of Pro Wrestling podcast, which will be coming up this coming Sunday. Make sure you guys tune in. Myself, Joseph Montecillo, and Forrest Silva will be talking about New Japan, AEW, all that good stuff. So tune in for that. And that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching that little snippet of this week's episode of the Chill Pill Podcast. You can go to patreon.com/TylerMask and go to the $5 tier and get free early access to the episode you just listened to right there of the Chill Pill Podcast. Also, there's the $1 tier, will get you free access to NJPW content. I say free, you gotta pay for it, of course. But content from NJPW, also $10 tier, more to offer there. And also make sure you go to my YouTube channel, Tyler Mask, and press the subscribe button. And also go to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TylerSuplex, and give your boy a follow. Thank you all for watching, guys. You all have a good day now. Peace.